This episode is brought to you by Nana's Deli. Attention food lovers, have you been to Nana's Bistro yet? If not, you're missing out. Nana's Deli has just unveiled their newly renovated dine-in space, and it's ready for you to enjoy. The updated menu has all your favorites, plus a new star, Food Czar Flats, served with every salad, sandwich, or grill order. But let's not forget the classics that made Nana's famous. Their mouth-watering tuna, legendary sloppy joes, hearty soups, and that unbeatable pastrami sandwich. This is comfort food done right. Got a special occasion? Nana's Bistro is perfect for private events, birthdays, anniversaries, or just because. You name it, they'll make it unforgettable. Since 1981, Nana's has been a tradition, and they're still going strong. And if you're in Jersey City, you already know, Nana's is there too, bringing their signature flavors to your neighborhood. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Nana's, enjoy your favorites, and don't forget those Food Czar Flats. Nana's Deli, serving tradition, flavor, and love since 1981. Mention Food Czar Podcast to receive 10% off your next order. Go to nanasdeli.com for more information. Hey there, listeners. Here's a quick question. When was the last time you took a good look at your insurance policies? If you're unsure, don't worry. Beth Sultan at Strategic Insurance Agency has you covered. Strategic Insurance, right here in Livingston, has been helping people protect what matters most for over 25 years. Beth Sultan, a licensed property and casualty insurance broker, is ready to make sure your home, auto, or business is fully covered at the best price possible. The best part, Beth offers a free, no-pressure review of your current policies. All it takes is a quick chat and a couple of documents to ensure you've got the best coverage for your needs. So don't put it off. Call Beth Sultan today at 917-488-2523 or email her at bsultan@siapc.com. Let her and the team at Strategic Insurance put their 25 years of expertise to work for you. Strategic Insurance Agency, trusted in the community for over 2 decades.
This is Behind the Counter.
Behind the Counter
with the Food Zone. Here's Heidi.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Counter with the Food Czar, which is me, Heidi Blum. And today I'm so excited to be sitting with New Jersey's very own Kenny Santucci. I'm saying New Jersey because we're now back in Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've made it home.
You've made it home. So we're sitting at Kenny's new gym in Caldwell, the Strength Club on Bloomfield Ave, behind Gyro World.
Yep.
And I'm excited to talk to you. First of all, I have to tell you, I'm going to fangirl for like 1 minute, okay? So, yes, I watched you on the challenge. Awesome. That's great. I'm a junkie. Cool. It's your fitness content. I think I've been following you as a fitness person who, like, number one, I'm a personal trainer, but number two, passionate about health and fitness. Following you since, I want to say, like, COVID-ish time.
Okay.
And I didn't realize how big you were in the fitness industry. So watching you, obviously, you're like, knowing I was going to meet you this past Saturday at your grand opening, I was like, I have no idea. You have a vision of what someone's going to be. I seriously think, this is going to sound so weird, but when I saw you, I was like, I feel like I knew this guy forever.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It's an amazing thing to meet someone that you've been watching, and then you're like even better in person than you are. Not that you're not creating your content.
No,
but,
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
But,
I'm glad I get that a lot. Like, people tell me, like, oh, I thought you were going to be so much worse. And I'm like,
if there's something, well, because there's an intimidation factor,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But it's also the reason why I love watching you is because you are so raw, you're so real, and you're so honest. And I think you walk the walk and talk the talk.
Yeah, I really just don't know any other way to be. I don't realize it sometimes. I did a talk a couple months ago up in Toronto for a buddy of mine. He's got this men's group, and he had like 150 guys there. And he's like, I want you to take us through a workout, and then we're gonna do this talk afterwards. And I was just spitballing, and I had like 5 guys come up after, and they're like, dude, you're so authentically you. It's so crazy that like you just don't give a fuck. And I'm just saying what I would normally say.
Yeah.
I guess it comes across as a little too much for some people.
It's Jersey.
Yeah,
Like, I think there's something about, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I mean, so I want to get into that, but the reason I really wanted to sit down with you today is, number one, I think what you do is amazing, because as intimidating maybe it is to see you, you know, on whatever social media, and as amazing as you are in person, it's the way you build community, I think, is amazing, because you are, you know, you could see that you push yourself, which in turn makes other people push themselves, and you like make uncomfortable things comfortable. And I think that's an amazing thing. And it's the culture, it seems like, at your other gym in New York, when you're doing your talks, on a podcast, in your gym here. And I think people need more of that around them.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. You know, I always think that most people think that Superman's going to show up one day, and he's really not.
Yeah.
And you need to be that person yourself. And you don't realize how many people you'll inspire by being that Superman in your own life. I grew up a fat, awkward kid in Newark, New Jersey, hoping one day that I would, you know, get helped out. And I realized at a young age, at 13, 14 years old, I'm like, if I want to be a hero, I have to do it myself. I have to do all the things that a hero would do. And it's not just the physical. It's everything else. It's lending a hand. It's helping people out. It's putting yourself out there. It's being vulnerable. So with business, I mean, I came into this town. I don't really know anybody here. I mean, my sister
I
lives
thought
here.
like you knew everybody here.
No, I mean, people started coming out of the woodwork. I mean,
Right.
Guys I've known from high school and college and things
Right.
like that. But for me, I don't hang out with anybody here.
Yeah.
I've spent the last 15 years in Manhattan.
Sure.
And a lot of my friends who lived in Manhattan all left and went to Florida and Connecticut. And
Yeah.
so for me, I'm like, what would I want somebody to do if somebody moved into my town?
Yeah.
And I lend a hand. I'm like, I invited all the cops and the firemen, and I want everybody here. I want to be able to, if you have something, you have to be able to share it. Like, I grew up owning really nothing. My parents, we like I said, we grew up in Newark, and I never had anything. Everything I had to share with my brothers and my sisters.
How many are there?
So I have 2 brothers and a sister.
Okay.
So I've never really owned anything. So anything I always had, it's always like, oh, I guess we're all sharing
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one
yeah.
drink.
Where do you fall in the order?
So I'm second.
Okay.
I'm second of 4. But for me, I want to be able to help as many people out. And as cliche and, you know, kind of hippy dippy as that sounds,
Yeah.
you could do it. You know, I always think I have clients who are millionaires and billionaires. I'm like, why don't they just do more? And I'm like, well, I don't have as much as them, but I could do more. I could help as many
Such a good
people as I can.
question.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, when you meet somebody who has $1 billion, like, I've had clients who are very wealthy, very well-known people here in New Jersey,
Yeah.
who have hundreds of millions of dollars. And everybody does a charity thing, so they get a write-off.
Right.
You know, but nobody's like going out there and daily like helping somebody out that they could help out. That's why I love being in the gym. Somebody asked me the other day, I was just at this mastermind down in Florida, and they're like, what type of impact? I'm like, yes, everybody wants more money so they could do more with it.
Yeah.
But we were on this boat we're on a yacht in Florida. Everybody else is hanging off the back end, drinking champagne. I went downstairs and I took a nap. I'm like, this is my time to sleep, because I don't give a fuck to do this. Like, I've never said like, hey, I want to go hang out on a boat and drink margaritas. That's not my goal is to have this gym full of people and help as many people as I can day in and day out. Like, I want to be here. I look forward to it. I don't have to be here. I can hire a bunch of people and do everything. But I want to be here. I want to be in the mix, because I feel like I don't have a purpose if I don't.
It's amazing. First of all, you can tell that you want to be here. I mean, I walked in early just to set up, but just to see how it's 12. I mean, it's 1:00, quiet time. There's 4 clients here, right? Was it a group fitness class?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're teaching it. So for people who were like, oh, he probably just shows up to like, you know, have content. That's not what's going on. No. That's not what's going on.
I mean, I wish it was sometimes. I wish it would. Like, I just don't see the point of having a gym and not doing the thing. You know, I've spent the last 15 years of my life trying to become the best coach possible. Why would I then now back off of what I'm doing and not do the thing that I'm really good
100%.
at. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I want to be a Yoda in the room. I want to be able to help as many people and teach them all these little tricks and traits. I was just down in Florida and I was hanging out with Ben Pakulski. I don't know
Okay.
if you know who he is. He's
Yeah.
a big bodybuilder back in the day. And he's so knowledgeable. And like working with him, it's like he's got 10 years on me.
Right.
But also a lifetime of just bodybuilding experience. For me, I've done CrossFit and I've done athletic training and I've done, runs the gamut.
Yeah.
But he's done strictly that. So think about a guy who's spent the last 30 years of his life just doing bodybuilding. He's got to know a
insane.
thing or
Yes.
two that I don't know.
Of course.
And that's what I don't get about some of the younger generation, like the Gen Zers. They're like, oh, well, I'll just watch this guy on social media. And it's not the same experience.
No.
I encourage everyone out there to hire a coach, hire a trainer, because fitness is the most important thing in your life. So why wouldn't you want to go learn from somebody who has a lifetime of experience? One of the things that I love the most about my job is I get to train a lot of people 50, 60, 70, 80 years old.
Yeah.
And when I work with an older demographic, I'm standing there with a guy, I'm like, you're a piece of history to me. You've lived double my life. You could teach me so much. And just talking to them, and most of the time they tend to be wealthier people who understand business a whole lot more than I do and understand life a whole lot more than I do. When you're 20 and 30 years old, you think you know everything.
Sure, you sure
and
do.
then I think you get to 40 and you're like, I don't know fuck all. I need to work so much harder. I need to do so much more.
Wait till you're my age. I'm not in the 40s anymore.
Well, yeah, and you get there and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
by that time, I think about how much I've learned about business and training and people, because everything's a people business. Whether I own a hotel, a gym, a coffee shop, a laundromat, you're always dealing with people. No matter what happens, you have to be a people person. If you want to be successful, I was just sitting with a guy who's 66 years old. And he was at this mastermind, and he paid 10 grand to be at this mastermind.
Okay.
And he sold his company. He had a marketing company that he sold back in 2013, 2014, he said. And I said to him, I go, and he sold it for $60 million, something like that. And I go, you won the game.
Yeah.
It's over. Like, what?
Yeah,
He
enjoy your life.
He goes, I have no purpose now. He goes,
Yeah.
I'm irrelevant. He goes, I don't want to be irrelevant at 66. He goes, what do I tell people? I sold a company 14 years ago for $60 million. No, he goes, I need to do something now. He goes, I'm still living. And I go,
First
more
of all,
people
that's
need to hear that.
I know, that's
more people need to
I
hear
agree.
that. You're not dead at
Yeah.
50. You're not dead at 60. The game's not over. I have a client who's 39 years old. He's a billionaire.
Right.
You know what he does every day? He gets up, he works out with me 3 days a week, and then he goes and works on other projects with other people. He's a tech guy.
Yeah.
The game isn't over. The game
No.
isn't to make as much money. The game is, yeah, you win, but now why I started training was because I was fat as a kid. I was awkward, I was weird, and I loved training. And I go, oh, I'm pretty good at this. I want to go help other people do it now. So after you win the game, whatever that game might be, now you go on to help other people. Look how many guys go from being, professional athletes or college athletes, and they're like, now I just want to go help younger guys do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think that is what we need to start wrapping our heads around, the idea that it's not just, hey, I made a bunch of money. I'm now going to go on and live on an island. Because that's the dream we were sold as kids. Oh, you'll retire 50, 60, 70
and then
years
you travel
old.
the world.
And then you travel the world.
Yeah.
And then you're alone.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be alone. I always tell people, if being alone was the goal, then why wouldn't the Bahamas have more people, right?
Yeah.
Manhattan's all overcrowded.
Yeah.
If you want to be alone, go to an island like that where there's
Yeah.
like 14 fucking people there who live there all year round, right?
Yeah.
But
You
everybody
can't be
wants to live
alone.
in
That's not
Manhattan.
what life's about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's
No.
about human contact. It's about
Exactly.
being the best version of yourself constantly.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how I live my life, right? It's about every decade evolving into something better than I was in the last. I mean,
And now you have all this life knowledge.
Yep.
I didn't know who you were. When you came in, you had just a great energy about you.
Thank you.
And again, it doesn't matter how old you are. You're like, here I am. I'm doing
No,
I'm
I
doing
feel
my
like I'm
thing,
30.
enjoying-
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people give up on themselves. And that's where this depression and anxiety and a lot of this stuff happens, is when people go, well, I'm too old for that. Well, I'm not good enough for that. I've seen
You can change
your reality at any point.
Yeah, as I've gotten older, I've changed the way I work out because I have to. I want longevity in life, but it doesn't mean I'm not working out. I'm just changing as I'm getting older. That things become more important, and running a half marathon at a 8-minute mile used to be my goal in the 40s. It's not anymore.
Yeah, and I tell a lot of young guys and young girls this. You start to look at people who we all get intimidated by. There are so many people out there who feel that being not good looking enough, or not tall enough, or not in shape enough. A lot of that stuff, aside from the height thing, you could change.
Yeah.
And don't compare yourself. I mean, it's the thief of joy. You don't want to compare yourself to other people. But think about how many people who are unlikely. I mean, think about another Jersey person like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise was short. Yeah, he's a handsome guy, but he became the biggest actor in the world.
Yeah.
I think he still probably is one of the top people.
Yeah.
And from 1981 to now, he's still one of the biggest names in Hollywood. So it could happen to anyone. He's no better than anybody else.
Nope.
I don't think he's ever made a movie where you're like, oh man, that was an Oscar-winning performance. That was so dramatic. He always plays the cool guy.
Yes.
In Top Gun,
Yes.
Days of Thunder,
yes.
The Last Samurai.
Yeah.
Like his best movies, he plays the same guy. He plays the guy I think he wishes he was growing up.
It's acting, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so he's channeling. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. So let's go back for a second, because you keep saying that you were a fat, awkward kid,
Yeah.
right? And I sort of know that's always been your story, sort of, right? So, I mean, I was the fat, funny girl. So there you have it. Good for us, right? Yeah, exactly. So
Changing our reality.
Exactly. Well, we grow up. Things. While maybe bad food was a priority for me when I was that age, now it's not anymore.
No,
so,
and
yeah.
I think we didn't understand. We didn't know any better.
There was we were not educated. I mean, it was like Jack LaLanne was like in my generation,
Yeah.
So let's go back for a second. So you're a young, chubby, awkward kid. When you say awkward, like not friends,
I was always kind of funny,
Yeah.
and I had friends that way, but I was chubby. I had glasses, I moved very awkwardly,
Yeah.
Everybody thinks like, oh, they're like, you're athletic. I'm like, I wasn't always though. I wasn't good at anything.
Right. Okay.
I couldn't play basketball, so I stopped playing that. I was okay at baseball, but I feel like you could get away with not being athletic in baseball.
Yeah.
I played football. I wrestled, and like wrestling is where I really found my way and started doing that. And I'm like, well, this is a way for me to get my aggression out and be,
Was that like a trigger for was
Yeah,
that what sort of sparked it for you?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the ability to I grew up watching a lot of 80s, 90s action movies, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to be that guy. And I thought wrestling was like that outlet. And I grew up loving wrestling,
Yeah.
like WWE wrestling.
Sure.
So that was my opportunity.
So wrestling, my son tried it last year.
Okay.
In
old's he?
ninth grade.
Okay.
Never wrestled before.
Yeah.
The community of wrestling, the environment is so amazing because it teaches you so much about life in ways that you don't even realize.
I think it's a skill set that it's never not a good situation to have. So if you could defend yourself in any way,
Yeah.
you're always going to resort back to your lowest form of training. So if you know how to defend yourself, I mean, that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Guy, girl, doesn't matter. And I love the fact that the sport's growing so quickly and that there are so many young girls who are getting involved in it.
It's incredible. There were, I want to say 7 girls on wrestling last year.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
And they did really well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive.
I think the way, for me, having been involved in, the gym world and wrestling at such a young age in the late 90s, early 2000s,
Yeah.
it was looked down upon for women to lift weights. It was looked down upon for women to be in combat sports. But I think society's shifting a little bit, and we're starting to see
A lot of it. I think a lot of it.
Yeah, and we're starting to see the acceptance of that, and I love it. I think it's great. I think women should be able to defend themselves.
Yeah.
I think they should learn these skills. It absolutely gives people confidence that they would not have unless they knew that. I mean, I remember listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and he's like, when you walk in the room and you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
you're like, there's maybe 2 people who might give me a hard time in here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's for a man or a woman or anybody walking into a room, it gives you a level of confidence that you can't get from anything else.
Yeah.
You know, you could have a lot of money, but there's still somebody who could take advantage of you.
100%.
You know, now just think like, oh, if you're successful and athletic
Yeah.
and tough as shit,
Yeah. No one's going to fuck
you
with
feel
you.
pretty good walking into any room.
But also at that age to learn that you're not going to win every time.
Yes, I agree.
Right?
I think that's
and
so
you're
important.
you're gonna lose. Like,
Yeah.
and you should lose, and you should know the feeling of losing, so that you get that little, something within you that's like, you know what, I want to fucking win.
Yeah.
So I think it's the wrestling community is amazing. So did you take wrestling and then you were like, I want to go into fitness and like,
Yeah,
is that what your path was?
I think for me, it just kind of clicked in high school. I was like, wow, I really enjoyed doing this. I really enjoy trying to understand why I was heavy and why I was out of shape and why everybody around me. I mean, my family's pretty much out of shape, but there were other kids that I played sports with. I'm like, well, he's skinny and he's in better shape than I am.
Yeah.
Why was I not born that way? And it took me a while for me to understand it and kind of study it for a very long time.
right.
And then I was like, well, I'm not the only person who struggles with this. So I wanted to start to help as many people as I could. So I remember going to my guidance counselor in college, and I was an art major in college, which a lot of people don't know about me.
What art? Like,
I went to Montclair State for art and design.
but were you like a painter,
Yeah,
a drawer?
I like to paint. I like to draw. I like to do. I like doing all the graphics for the shirts.
Do you
and stuff.
do all the
Yeah.
graphics?
Yeah.
That's
and like
no one knows that. I feel like this is like breaking news. I feel like that's
Well, I kind of sketch out and kind of lay out what I want, and then
Yeah.
I'll go to an artist who's really good at that.
makes it come to life.
Yeah. So with the artwork on the wall in here,
It's insane, by the way.
yeah,
it's
it's sick,
awesome.
right?
Yeah.
So I wanted somebody who could execute on that realistic style
Yeah.
and graffiti really well, and there's very few people who do it. So J Mac, the guy who had to do that, he lives down in New Brunswick. Unbelievable. And I got him another gig working with my buddy who he's doing a huge mural for in the city.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, he did an unbelievable job. And I had seen his work at the Butcher's Block
Okay.
in Long Branch.
Yep,
And
yep.
I was like, whoever did that, I'm hiring that guy. I don't care what it costs.
Yeah.
I'm going to have him do my gym in
That's
Jersey.
this is. I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah,
If
so,
it's
I mean,
for
it's
anyone
worth-
listening, just to come. If you're not going to come and work out, just come look at the mural because it is pretty cool.
For those of you out there who who don't understand the beauty of art, you don't realize how much you need art until you absolutely need it. You know,
Yeah.
somebody who designs a room really well, or somebody who could paint really well. It's just such a skill set that I've always admired since I was a little kid.
Well, it's creativity.
Yeah.
Creativity is important.
Yeah.
You know?
And some people have it and some people don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's music. It's like some people hear a sound and could understand exactly what's going on, and other people are just like, yeah, it sounds great. Like, we could all agree it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But to what degree are you willing to pay for it? To what degree do you appreciate it?
Trust me, I've tried guitar so many times.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
Me too.
my
I'm one of those
God.
people too. Drawing
Yeah.
just came naturally to me.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being 3, 4, 5 years old, and my mom still has notebooks full of stuff that I was just like
That's
sketch
awesome.
pads and stuff that I have.
So you're in Montclair State,
Yeah.
art and design major.
Yeah. And I had said to my guidance counselor, I said, hey, what if I wanted to pursue some sort of kinesiology or exercise science? And she's like, you'll be in school forever. Those things will never cross paths. So here I am 20 years later, and
Yeah.
it's like, little did she know. I started a clothing brand. I have art in every gym I've ever owned. I always hire some graffiti artist or
Awesome.
some type of artist to do some mural in my gym. And then all the branding and advertising, I take a lot of pride, and I spend a lot of time on
Yeah.
that stuff. It allows me to be creative, and then and being in the gym gives me purpose.
Yep.
So it's important, but you never want to do anything and not be good at it.
No.
So I'm always trying.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to be really good at like the business side of it.
Well, so I think you owned a gym, right? You had
I had a gym in New Jersey
Yeah.
in Paramus in 2012 to 2014, and then had a a CrossFit gym in New York from 2014 to 2020. And, you know, both of those, I had some shitty partners and some deals went awry, but it allowed me to learn and set up for my next move, which was opening the gym in New York in 2021.
That's, I think I was following you. That's around that time. And it was still COVID. And you were like trying to get deals on equipment. I mean, I remember watching that and being like, he is hustling at a time where it was hard to hustle.
Yeah. No, I bought up probably $30,000 worth of equipment when everybody else was shutting down. And and so many of my friends are like, why you spend all your money on buying up all this stuff? I go, because whether the world ends tomorrow or, you know, I die 50 years from now, I'm always going to work out.
Yeah.
And I want to have enough stuff that I could get as many people to work out with me as I can.
Yeah.
So I had like 5 of everything. I had like 5 different kettlebells of the same size. And I wanted to, I said, even if I started something out of my mom's garage, even if I buy a home in Nebraska and I put all my equipment in there, I'll still be able to work out.
Yeah.
So I knew no matter what happens, if the world's ending or not, I want to work out. And if anybody wants to come join me, that's what I want to do.
And they're coming to join you, by the way. Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like my, you know, kind of the next thing. I have so many ideas and so many things I want to do and so many things I'm willing to invest in and spend money in. Like I was just away on this retreat weekend and I've been wanting to do it for a couple of years now. And 2 years ago, I had went with Jason Redman, who is one of my speakers at my event, who's a very decorated Navy SEAL. He does these survival weekends. And I went by myself. One of my buddies was supposed to come with me. He ended up having some shit to do with his family. I ended up going by myself, but I found it so...
For a Navy SEAL weekend?
Yeah, well, it's basically like, it's not like one of these jerk off things where you're running 50 miles on the beach and all that stuff. It was more like, hey, if God forbid something happens, here's the things that you should have in a ready bag.
So like a survival.
Like a survival weekend. And then they teach you how to shoot guns and things like that. And there was like very light hand-to-hand combat type stuff, which I thought was so cool. And again, it goes back to like, it just gives you a level of preparedness and confidence that you don't get from doing anything else.
Yeah.
So I've been wanting to do these, like, everybody always makes fun of me, even my mom. She's like, anytime I go anywhere with you, I got to pack a bag because I never know I'm going to come home and what we're going to end up doing. So I was like, you know what? I might as well play off that idea that people never know what's going to happen when they're with me. So I'm going to start doing these weekends where it's like, I'm going to have 5 spots. I'm going to pay for everybody.
Okay.
You know, and I'm going to be like, just pack a bag. You know, bring shorts, bring a jacket, bring everything.
Right.
And, you know, I'll tell people where to meet me, and it'll be a free trip for anybody who comes.
Okay.
And it's a chance for people in network to come together. And, you know, I want to just kind of make a weekend out of it. Like learn how to shoot, go, you know,
like an
race
adventure.
cars. Yeah, like an adventure weekend.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's just like what I like doing, and I'll take whoever wants to come with me.
Well, it's interesting. And I think, okay, so you open, there's so many things. So you open, you open Strength Club New York.
Yeah.
2021. Mm-hmm. And
when people told me that was the worst idea possible.
Well, I think that was sort of the feeling when you were doing it. And I think you were very honest about it, but you were like, fuck it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And you literally were like documenting it on social media. And that's what was so amazing, because that's what I'm saying is like you could tell your hustle was on. You were like, something was lit in you, and you were like, I'm doing this.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. Well,
it's not like, again, I don't want to go and when a lot of my friends and people I know were going to South Florida to go drink margaritas all day.
Right.
I'm like, I see no purpose in that. It brings me no joy.
No, but you create community. Mm-hmm. You create a culture for people to gather with you, right? I mean, like you're talking about your trip with 5 people.
Yeah.
You have a gym that holds 50 people. Mm-hmm. You know, you're creating a culture and a community of people around you who are either inspired by you, motivated by you, or they're motivating you.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there's definitely some people. A couple of years ago, I did, when I turned 40 years old, I'll be 42 in April. I said I wanted to start this event called Fittest at 40. And basically, I'm going to go and run a marathon, and I'm going to do a triathlon, and I'm going to do a CrossFit competition, and I'm going to enter myself into jiu-jitsu tournaments. And if anybody wants to come along with me, you can. The fee is $750. So I had like 4 or 5 people join, maybe 6 people join.
Right.
It was a couple women, couple guys, and every month we would meet up online and we'd talk about it. And 2 of the guys were in my gym. One of them happened to be at the time, he was about 265 pounds.
Yeah.
He's now under 200 pounds.
Oh, I think, what's his name?
Jonathan.
Okay.
Yeah, he was here. He was at the event.
Oh, really?
And then the other guy was my buddy Matt, who's another client of mine who's been with me. He shows up before the lights go on in my gym.
That's awesome.
Every day in Manhattan. And he's a very inspiring guy. You know, he like inspires me now because he had never run a marathon. He's never ran anything. He's doing the new Lake Placid Ironman this year.
Oh my God.
He did a half Ironman last year.
That's insane.
He did 2 marathons since then. He just did a 24-hour, one of these every
Ultra
hour.
runs?
Every hour on the hour, you do 4 miles.
Oh my God.
And when I tell you I go, buddy, you've far surpassed any of the shit I've ever done. So I go, you blew past me. But he goes, that was the best $750 I ever spent.
Yeah. It's, you probably switch went on
Yeah.
at him from doing that.
Well, because he's like, I wouldn't have done it if somebody wasn't helping me do it.
Yes, correct.
So I think, listen, people always look at, I don't want to, reveal how much I paid for this past weekend to go and be with a bunch of other CEOs and people, who do pretty well in the business space.
Did you know anyone that was there?
Yes. I
Okay.
know a couple of people. A friend of mine, Josh, who owns a place called Impact Kitchen. They're opening up 2 locations in New York soon.
Okay.
They have 7 locations up in Toronto.
Wow.
Ben Pekulski, who is a very popular, famous bodybuilder, the guy who started Comic-Con was there.
Oh, wow.
A lot of well-to-do people. Like
Yeah.
they all do really well for themselves. And the beauty of it is that everybody's trying to do the same thing. Everybody just wants to be in this network of people that kind of inspire them and help them come along. And none of us look at it as they're like, oh, I'm going to spend $5,000 or $10,000 on this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, you see it as an investment.
Sure.
So when you believe in a trainer or believe in someone that's like, hey, this is the price for me to, this is the price of entry to do whatever it is, I look at it as an investment. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll pay that.
Yeah.
I just joined, Devin, did you meet Devin who was here?
No, I don't know.
So he was the guy I had on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So I met him here and there throughout.
I looked him up. He did
the
Bear Crawl Marathon.
So I've known him throughout the years, and I was never really like sold on him. I'm like, well, I don't get it about this kid. And then we started hanging out more. We did some work together. He Promix sponsored Strong New York the last couple of years, and we were talking about doing some business together. And he's like, hey, you should join the farm. And I went down there twice now.
Right.
And both times they'd met some great people. And I'm like, you know what? This is an investment.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as like, oh, I'm spending X amount of dollars, $7,000 or whatever it is to join. It's an opportunity for me to meet other people and grow my network and enjoy, being around those.
But don't
type
you
of
think
people.
all this is sort of what's made Strength Club New York and now Strength Club New Jersey successful?
For sure.
Because before, right? When
Scared money doesn't make money,
Right.
And I was always hesitant to spend money on things like this. Like, I'm hiring a marketing company now to help us with all the branding for Strong New York and the Strength Club. If I make $1, I spend $2 on trying to improve what we're doing.
Let's talk about, so you have Strong New York, right? Which is what? Your expo in...
It is the biggest,
yes,
one and only health and wellness expo in the tri-state area. We had over 3,300 people there this past year. It only keeps getting bigger, and it's my opportunity.
Where was it, the Javits Center?
No, we do it at the Glass House on 40th and 12th Avenue.
Okay.
We're not ready for the Javits Center
Okay.
yet. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
But no, it allows me to do a lot of things that I love to do. 1, put this whole big event together. 2, share fitness with as many people as possible. But 3, because I'm a small business owner and I understand how hard it is to get a small business off the ground.
Yep.
It allows me to get some of the bigger brands that I work with, the Celsius, the Bucked Up, Adidas of the world.
Yeah.
And I have all these smaller brands. I had a woman there who owns a bakery down in South Jersey. She has this healthy bakery. I had met her at an event, and I was like, hey, I want to give you a table at my event.
That's awesome.
And there are other smaller brands where they're like, hey, I'd love to be at your event. And I'm like, I evaluate how small their brand is. Obviously, like I need everybody to have skin in the game because of the space. Space cost me over $100,000 just for the day.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So it's
In New
very
York,
expensive. So I need people to have skin in the game, and I try to get the big players to help me out as much as possible so we can continue to do the event. But I want to help the smaller brands.
You're giving them exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get them off the ground. I want to help them out. I want them to be like, oh, 5 years from now when they sell their company, they're like, yo, one of the first events we ever did was this Strong New York thing where this guy let us in and we, kind
took off from there. Yeah. No, but that's, again, community. I mean, culture, all of it. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's culture. That's, I want to see people win. I can't say it enough. I swear on my father's fucking life, and my dad passed away in 2019. I tell people, you have to want to see other people win. It is a necessity in life. If you don't want to see other people win, then you will constantly lose. You reap what you sow. And if you're out there pushing other people, like trying to help people win, trying to make connections for people, trying to put them in touch with the right people, then you're going to succeed.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, my boy, he hooked me up with this, or this one hooked me up with that.
100%.
Even if you feel that you're doing it for a selfish reason, you're still helping somebody out.
100%. And that's why, we all say, even as cliche as it sounds, like you want to be around people who lift you up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, anyone who has that negative energy and is out for themselves and just could care less about you doing well, rhetorically,
Yeah.
I have zero time for that in my life.
Yeah.
Lift me up or don't, that's it.
And
Be,
when you were
be
like,
a cheerleader, support each other. That's it's
when
not
you were
hard.
like, I got a podcast, I'm like, done, let's do it. Whatever I could do to help out. I go and do stuff all the time. I sometimes overextend myself. I really don't have the
sure
time.
you do, yeah.
But a friend of mine who is one of the guys I do jiu-jitsu with in the city has a charity, and he's like, I'm like, all right, listen, I'll just pay for it. Let me just take care of like whatever expenses you need for other stuff, because I want to be a part of it. I want to be able to help them out.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot. I want to see people do well. I think it's crazy when people don't want to see other people.
You're also now in a position where you can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's so,
Yeah, there was a point.
Yeah.
I mean, I was living out of my car for almost 2 years. And when I was like 30, 31.
That's insane.
Yeah, when I lost my first gym and I was moved over to the other gym in New York, I was sleeping in out of the car. But here's the thing. I started sleeping out of the car and I was sleeping on friends' couches and stuff like that. But because I would bartend at night, which I hated doing, and I did that for about 6 months, which was brutal.
Right.
I would leave the bar at like 2, 3 in the morning and then start class at 5 a.m.
Oh my
at the other gym.
God.
So I would sleep for 2, 3, and that's why I have a couch in every gym I've ever had.
So you can sleep.
So I could sleep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's not, I mean, you were young.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can handle that.
Yeah,
but,
30 you could do it. At 40,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it.
But I mean, again, another experience that teaches you.
Yeah, I
right?
think
mean,
struggle's
that's-
good.
yeah.
I think everybody, like, when you're coming up on hard times, look at it as an opportunity to build some armor.
You know what? Life is hard, period, right? Life is hard and shit's going to happen. And, it's sort of the reason why I work out. I've been through a lot in my life, and that's a whole other episode, but I've been through a lot in my life. But I always say that I have my like tool belt, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that working out and eating well and taking care of myself, it empowers me. I like the structure of it. I like the strength, because it's not just lifting a weight, it's your mental strength, right? That allows you.
important.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can go through the motions every day, but having mental clarity and mental strength is what's so important when those hard times come.
Yeah.
Right? Because you need to be able to be equipped. You talk about being equipped with a backpack of stuff. I mean, think of, your mental health that way too. Yeah.
No, I'm on the back of all the Strength Club shirts. It says, "Life is heavy, get strong."
Oh, I want one.
Yeah. Yeah, we got you one.
All right,
Got
good.
you one.
Yeah, perfect. So, and then you have Strong New York.
Yeah.
You also have what you did in Asbury Park. Are you doing that again? I have a house in Ocean Grove.
So we have, what we did was last year we did a little tour, like a pop-up pump and run, we call it.
Yeah.
So it's we do like push-ups and pull-ups and all that shit, and then we go for a run. Yeah, we're gonna do it again this year, depending on timing of the event.
Yeah.
The event's September 27th. I want to see when the See Here,
See Here Now is,
Festival.
yeah.
That's when we did it. We try to like capitalize on a bunch of people being down there.
That's great.
And be like the fitness event for the for the festival. So for us, it'll be we'll do a couple small events leading up to Strong, but Strong is like our big.
When is
event.
that?
September 27th.
Oh, Strong is September 27th.
Strong is September 27th.
But in
The pump and
Asbury,
run, we don't. I got to figure out like what when the
schedule is,
festival is.
Yeah.
We haven't even. We started building out a calendar. We're going to do an event, an influencer event in March at the One Hotel in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity to help influencers and people within the health and wellness space, to kind of build their businesses a little bit better. So I'm going to bring in like a social media expert. I'm going to bring in a business expert. I'm going to bring in somebody in like nutrition and wellness. Somebody who's a little bit more, versed in everything, who's been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
To help them out and help them build their business and build a cool experience out of it as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, say you just build. I think that's like what your mission is. I was going to say, it's like you build communities wherever you go.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
I don't want to do any. I mean, I think it's crazy when people want to do things alone.
Yeah, I know. Though I work out alone, but that's a whole other story. But no, but you're right. I mean, you need people around you. That's you just do. So Strength Club New Jersey, open. What's your goal for here?
I told everybody, I was like, I want 200 people here who are hungry and excited about being here, who want to be a part of the community. I call it, both my gyms say Strength Club New York or New Jersey, gym and social club, because I want people to utilize it. This past Sunday, I had one of the ladies who's, she doesn't even live here, but she's a member. She floats in and out of town. She comes in and she had her birthday party here, and she had like 20 people here with her, and we did a private little event for her.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I want people to utilize it like that. I want people to be like, oh, I have my kid's birthday party. Can we use the gym? Sure.
Amazing.
And I want it to be a place. I want it to be a resource for the people in town, and make this a community gym.
Yeah.
This is what it is. It's a community gym. Yes, it's great. I want to teach people how to deadlift and use the machines and do all that. But at the same time, it's more about building that community. I watch a lot of people. One of the reasons why I wanted to put this here was over the summer when I was still contemplating if I should do this. I went with my sister and my brother-in-law to the town pool.
Okay.
And I'm looking around and I'm like, these people are sad. As much as they don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of give up on yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I have kids now. That's not a fucking excuse. The most successful people I know have multiple kids, multiple businesses. They're thriving in life because they take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you're happy, and they don't see the value in investing in themselves.
No.
And being like, I pay for a trainer, or I pay for a nutritionist, or I go to multiple different gyms. It's an investment in your life.
Yeah. And you have to prioritize yourself.
What the fuck is the point of having millions of dollars if you don't have your health? You can have $1 million.
Or kids.
Yeah.
Or kids.
I heard one of the coolest things one time. I forget where I heard it, but it was just like, what's the most important thing to you? Right? And everybody's like, money. Okay, if money is the most important thing, how about I give you $50 million right now, but I tell you have cancer?
Yeah.
Right? So money's not the most important.
Correct.
Right? And what if somebody said, oh, the most important thing to me is my family? It's like, okay, your family's the most important. What if I told you you're going to die tomorrow? Okay. So it all leads up to, okay, how do I become the healthiest version of myself so I can enjoy my money, so I can enjoy my family, so I can enjoy all the things that I think are the most important in my life? But in reality, my health is the most important. So I need to make that priority number one. It's not selfish. It's like, oh, I have kids.
No, you're right.
You're going to be such a better mother, or a better father, or a better companion when you're healthy.
Yep.
When you feel good.
Yep.
When you look good.
Look, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think what people have to realize is, if you have to do like circles, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the center of the circle has to be yourself.
Yes.
If you are not your best self, all those circles around you no one is good.
Yeah.
No one's happy around you.
Yeah, if the nucleus of that cell
Yes.
is shit,
I like the
then it's-
science that you just said.
yeah, then you're gonna ruin the cell.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to be the nucleus. You need to be what's the most important and take care of that.
Yeah. So, okay. So open is the goal. Is this it for Strength Club? Strength Club New Jersey, Strength Club New York.
Yes. You know, maybe there might be some other ones in the future. I never plan anything, and I'm dead honest with that. Like everybody's always like, "Oh, I'm going to start this empire." I don't I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing at the end of the day.
That's okay.
I'm not a business person. I never set out to be one. I just do what I enjoy, and I love what I do.
Yeah.
And I want to help as many people as I could. And if I do the best possible job in my other gym and here and in my event on a daily basis, then it's just going to lead to other good things.
Of course.
You know, like I said before, you reap what you sow. If I'm constantly helping people and doing what I can to make everybody else's life better, then hopefully that'll come back around and make my life better.
Yeah. And I mean, that's sort of what I'm saying when I met you. I was like, you know, watching you and hear you talk the talk, right? And then meeting you in person, it's really like your energy is amazing because it's you can see that it's an honest, this isn't bullshit that you're blowing up somebody's ass. You know what I mean? You are literally, honestly, you seem that person. And who doesn't want to be around that? That's amazing.
Yeah. I try to, I try to be the best example, and everybody's always trying to improve, right? We're all trying to get better.
Sure.
By no means am I the best at anything. I'm not the most in shape. I'm not the youngest or the most handsome or the best at doing any of these things. But I appreciate the people who have helped me get to this point, and I idolize the people who are doing it really well, especially older guys who have done it way better than I have.
Yeah.
I like paying homage to them, and that's part of my event as well, is like bringing in speakers and people who have helped me get to where I'm at so that other people could learn from them as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. So if people want to come to the Strength Club in New Jersey.
Yeah, first one's on me, so come on by. I'd love to have you guys
awesome.
come check it out. Just sign the waiver on the website. It's thestrengthclub.com. That cost me a fortune to buy that fucking domain. So thestrengthclub.com. Just sign the waiver and come on by and sign up for a class on the website. But yeah, I want it to be a place where people could come hang out and get strong. You know, I think strength, there's one of the sayings that we have that's, the strong New York saying is there's no substitute for strength. Like if you're strong, there's no substitute for it.
If you're strong, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, that's the end of the story, right?
Mentally and physically.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Kenny,
Awesome.
thank you
Thank you
so much.
for
This
coming
was
on.
awesome.
I appreciate you coming to the club.
I
and
appreciate
doing all
you
this.
having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
you.
If you are hearing this message, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I'm truly grateful for you and this opportunity. The purpose of the Behind the Counter podcast is to bring food, people, and community together. I hope you'll return for more episodes and explore with me. I want to personally thank Fran Linnell of Design 68 for my amazing Behind the Counter podcast logo, and Travis Lohenberg for my awesome Behind the Counter music, and all the guests that take their time to sit and talk with me. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you hear your podcasts. If you'd like to support the Behind the Counter podcast, please subscribe, share with your friends and family, and you can follow me on Instagram at Heidi Blum. If you have any feedback or stories that you want to share, you can email me at foodsarbtc@gmail.com.